Namaste. So today, without any further ado, we're going to go right into the 1,000 names and look at the first two names. The first line of the Lalita Sahasranāmam goes, Śrī Mātā, Śrī Mahārājñī, Śrī Mātā. So we're only going to do the first two. Śrī Mātā is the first name. And of course, Mātā means mother. So the goddess Tripura is the mother of the whole universe. She's not just an ordinary mother. Mātā, she's Śrī Mātā, meaning that she is the mother of all, the universal mother. And not only that, she's an extraordinary mother. An ordinary mother has no power to reduce or eliminate the suffering and trials and tribulations of life. I mean, maybe she can give a little bit of relief, but Śrī Mātā can completely remove those sufferings. The end of all suffering is liberation, moksha, the relief of material existence, the end of samsara, repeated birth and death. So she can grant this. It's within her power. In fact, it's only hers to grant. Why is that? Because as the mother of the universe, she is the universe. She is the trap. She is Maya. So Maya can also remove Maya. You see, just like a thorn can take out another thorn. But in her case, we don't want to throw the thorns away because she is our mother and full of love and affection for all her children. So, let me check my notes here. So, she is, in one way, the creator of the universe. She creates the material elements, space, time, dimension, and the Mahat Tattva, the source of all the 5 elements. And then at the end, she also dissolves her creation. See? Who makes it can also dissolve it. And this is why she can give liberation too. So this cycle of samsara that we're all stuck in is like an ocean. In the ocean, there are very strong currents and tides. It's very difficult, actually impossible, for an ordinary human being to swim against them. So, in other words, one has to be rescued by the ocean itself. Maybe the tide will wash you up on the beach somewhere. But in the case of samsara, it's the mother herself. So she is also the one to grant liberation. The problem is, you see, samsara, the current of material existence, is produced by the senses. When the senses interact with their objects, we become overwhelmed by all these impressions. And we're swept away, we're swept along by it. We don't have the strength to resist it, especially early in life when our habits and thought patterns are being formed. We have nothing solid. We are always at the effect or under the influence of externals. So therefore, we become patterned, we become conditioned by them. And we start to think of ourselves as a material thing. And of course, this is called identification. This identification goes very deep in the mind, and this is the cause of the bondage to the material world. So we have to be ready to give up, to die to this material identity before we can actually get freedom from it. Now, it's also, the Śrī Mātā can be interpreted as the mother of goddess Lakshmi. Lakshmi is also known as Śrī. Now, Śrī, Lakshmi, is the wife of Vishnu. You see? So the daughter of Parvati, of Ambika, Lalita, is the wife of Vishnu. See, so she is Vishnu's mother-in-law. She has him under her thumb. Actually, all the Vishnu forms are simply expansions of the potency of the mother. This is given later on, we'll see. So not only Śrī, Lakshmi, but also Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Rudrani, the wife of Rudra. Now Rudra is different from Shiva. Rudra is the potency of Shiva who resides in the material world and does the work of destruction. So he's the one who dances the dance, the Tandava, the dance of annihilation at the end of the universe. So in this way, she is actually the ancestress of all the demigods. And we'll see in the next name how that's so. Now, you've all probably heard of Durvasa Muni. Durvasa was considered an incarnation of Shiva. And he composed a prayer to Śrī Mātā called the Shakti Mahimna Stotram, 61 verses to the mother. So he says in there, "O Mātā, the supreme compassionate, I had been born to a number of mothers. In future also I may be born to a number of mothers. My mothers are countless, as I have different mothers for different births. I am so frightened to be born again and to undergo the associated suffering. O Mātā, I am surrendering unto you. Please give me relief from my future births." Now this is somebody very powerful. Durvasa. He's responsible for many miracles. You can read about him in Mahabharata, for example. And if he is offended with you, oh, you're finished. He'll curse you. This is why Duryodhana lost the Mahabharata war. He was cursed by Durvasa for being such a jerk. Anyway, the prefix Śrī means greatness. So there are 5 names in the Sahasranam, this Lalita Sahasranam, prefixed with Śrī, and they're called the Śrī Panchangam. Śrī Puram, the place where she dwells. Śrī-cakra, the palace where she lives with her bodyguards, lions. Śrī Vidya, the ritual worship and tantric worship. Śrī Shuktam, verses in praise of her, and Śrī Guru, the spiritual teacher who initiates his disciple into the worship of the Shakti. These 5 combine into the elements of the Tantra worship, the Tantra Shastras. Tantra is the essence of worship of Shakti. The real Tantra, not the phony Tantra that's usually taught in the West or in the East. Because in the East, it becomes ritualized and a religious type of worship. And in the West, it becomes simply indulgence in sex pleasure with no spiritual significance at all. They go to extremes. The truth is in the middle, as usual, that Tantra should be seeing the activities of the senses as the actions of the mother, as the actions of the goddess. Not just some activities, all activities, including our sexuality and everything. In fact, the sexuality is the base, the root. It is the fundamental chakra. And if that chakra is closed, then all the other ones are going to be closed too. So we have to, unless we're celibate from birth, that's the only exception. If we're celibate Naishtika brahmachari, then we can remain celibate lifelong and get enlightenment. But once we fall into sex habit, that has to be spiritualized, and that is through Tantra, Kaula Tantra practice. Now finally, the meaning of Śrī Mātā is the Panchadashi mantra. Panchadashi means 15 syllables. 15 syllables, and then there's one more added, and it becomes the Shodakashi mantra. And that means 16 letters. Shodash Akshara, 16 letters. And this is the most powerful mantra. It's also a secret mantra. One has to be initiated into it. And the reason for that is that some of the mantra depends on your astrological chart. So it requires someone who has knowledge of astrology, because after all, your astrological chart delineates your karma. And to become free from your karma, you need the right key, the right mula mantra to open the lock and set you free. So the very first name in this 1,000 names addresses Lalitāmbikā as Mātā, mother. And that's very significant. She is the mother of all. And this is her creation. That's the temple bell at her temple. So the next name is Śrī Mahārājñī. This mantra, or this name, also begins with Śrī. And Rājñī means a queen. But not only queen, Mahārājñī. So she's not just a queen, she's an empress. I mean, maybe Indra is the king of the demigods, but Mātā is the empress, and the empress is above the king. And what about Shiva? He doesn't care. He doesn't care for any position. He is what he is. So he gets a very special title, Ishvara. He's the controller. It's his desire that moves everything. And of course, his desire is Shakti. So most of these namas contain what are called bijakshas. Bija means seed. A bija mantra is a seed which, when watered with our attention and worship, grows and develops into a tree which bears very nice fruit. We were talking last time about Shreyas and Preyas. Preyas is immediate pleasure. Shreyas is delayed pleasure, future pleasure. And that the chanting of these mantras, these 1,000 names, is very auspicious. Means it's Shreyas. It gives pleasure in the future. But the quality of that pleasure is vastly superior to any pleasure we can get immediately in the moment. So these bijakshas are the seed mantras that eventually fructify into very beautiful and wonderful benedictions like enlightenment, liberation, and so on. So there are bijakshas hidden within the mantras of the 1,000 names. See, and this accounts for its power. These Sahasranamas are written very cleverly in such a way as if you chant them or hear them, that you're hearing these bijaksha mantras which are very powerful and which develop over time by repeated hearing or chanting. I very much encourage you to chant this 1,000 names. And I've included a link to a video which has an easy-to-follow version of the 1,000 names. And I'm also going to include a link to the complete text. So please download those files and use them in your daily sadhana. You'll get tremendous benefit from it. So the Shodashi mantra, the 16 syllables, is actually hidden within the 1,000 names. So even if you're not initiated into it, you can get the same or very similar benefit simply by hearing or chanting these 1,000 names. So this is the power. See, this is so intelligently written, so intelligently made. It was spoken by Hayagriva, and he's an incarnation of God. So it's got all power, all potency within it. I hear it and chant it every day, and it has made a tremendous difference in my quality of life. So the first name, Śrī Mātā, talks about her creative power. And the second name, Śrī Mahārājñī, talks about sustenance. Once the universe is created, it has to be properly managed. Otherwise, it will simply fall apart. So she not only is the mother of the universe, she's also the empress, the goddess, the queen. And she manages everything. If anything is wrong, she'll send an incarnation of Vishnu to go fix it. You see, that's how this works. And the whole thing is to please her Lord, Shiva. So, in these 1,000 names, there are 16 vowels, all the vowels in the Sanskrit alphabet. Now, generally speaking, in the Sanskrit alphabet, the consonants refer to Shiva, and the vowels refer to Devi, Lila, Lalita. So there are Leelas involved between Shiva and Devi. And these Leelas are all very beautiful and sporting. You can read about them in the Saundarya Lahari and many other places. But the whole idea is that within these mantras are all the secret mantras that are normally available only by initiation. But they're embedded in such a way that you chant them or hear them automatically simply by listening, and you effortlessly make advancement. So download the video of the 1,000 names that's linked in the video description below here, and put it on your phone. Listen to it while you're walking or cooking or doing anything like that. You'll slowly make advancement. You'll see. Try it. Don't just listen to this and go, oh yeah, he's off in India somewhere. No, this is real. So take advantage of this knowledge and use it to benefit and perfect your life. Om Tat Sat. Om Harihi Om.